So let's see if we have the video up now. What it's like. It sounds like I'm be honest from the description. It sounds like regular prison. Outside of like maybe some of the like the gardening and like the nice furnishings, but a regular prison has a lot of these features as well. But once you see the video,
Starts on day
very
one.
much different. Play it.
We take the freedom from them, but when they are here, we try to help them to get a better citizens.
Inmates have a normal work week, giving them routine and responsibilities, training to be car mechanics, and graphic designers in a state-of-the-art studio.
From the city hall, we're getting jobs from them.
Learning skills like restaurant prep, where they're trusted to handle knives, can help them get jobs on the outside. They have weekends off and a house available for overnight visits with their families.
The fuck? What? What kind of bed in my apartment? What the hell?
Save Vegas. Go ahead, Gaze.
Some call the world's most humane prison, Halden Prison, where new inmates are greeted the way I was, with a handshake.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Drug smugglers, murderers, rapists, all doing time in a maximum security prison that feels more like a college campus.
This is home?
Yeah, this is home, yeah.
Karsten was convicted of killing a man in Brazil. This is his cell block with a full kitchen, big screen TV, laundry room.
You have a key to your own cell.
Yeah, everybody have their own key.
He and the rest of the prisoners are locked in overnight. The rest of the time, they choose when to lock the door to their cozy single-bed cells with a TV and a private bathroom.
I used to be in prison in Brazil, and there was a cell just a little bit bigger than this, and there used to be 15 people in the same room.
The point here, to turn criminals into good neighbors.
Always have coffee on the go. Thank you.
Rehabilitation, says the...
Oh, man. I think they were an excellent point. This all feels and looks like college, basically, which you could argue is just as known as prison. But let me not reduce the the reality of prison. So yeah, like they said, the world's most humane prison. We have people. It seems like some people here have already expressed their kind of shock at what they're witnessing. But I mean, this is like a podcast topic in itself about like what prison conditions should be like. And while we're not gonna do a whole long deep dive on it, I am curious to know what y'all thoughts on something like this, because they were pretty clear. They literally said like little murderers, people that committed SA and done pretty atrocious things can end up in the type of prison. So what do y'all think of this? Do you have any issues with criminal having a comfortable living experience in the prison?
Is there no other word for? It wasn't SA. It was.
I don't say that R word. R word. You guys can say it. I just don't say it. Some people find it very true.
Yeah, I know, I get it, but I'm just saying it's worse than just to me. I mean,
do you? I don't. You.
I'm not saying you got to. Is there some other way?
Really quickly, and you can look it up on your own time. Do you acknowledge that that word is a form of SA? Do you? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Obviously, yes.
Then exactly. Okay. So we're good. So
it gives a different impression. Is all I'm saying.
Anyway. So, what was the question? Yeah. Do we take any issue with this? I guess we'll start with you, Ghost. Maybe you just had a first reaction, and maybe now you've changed your stance on it. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not lying when I say it's literally nicer than my apartment that I'm paying an outrageous amount for relative to what I should be paying for a one bedroom. But it's kind of beside the point. I don't have a problem with this, but again, there kind of has to be a limit or some type of restriction, because the fact that you got rapists up in there chilling, even murderers, it's like, I get that not all not all criminals, quote unquote, are gonna be bad people all the time. They might just made a mistake and all that. But some things like it's inexcusable, and the fact that they're able to live in such great relative to other prisons, great conditions, and even that's better than like homeless people live out here. So like, I appreciate the concept behind it, but the you gotta some of the people you gotta kick them out. Like you can go to normal prison. This is reserved for like the if you did something bad but not too bad. That's who I would put in here, to be honest. Although you could argue that the people that have done the worst stuff need the most rehabilitation, and if you put them in here, maybe it will make them not be such bad people. But I don't know.
You do bring up an interesting point. If I'm homeless and I don't got a dime to my name,
Yeah, if I'm homeless, I'm seeing this, I'm getting myself arrested. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's people who do that now with bad prisons.
Yup.
So
yeah, and the way you broke that down goes, it actually kind of, I guess, comes down to a point, maybe not the single focus point, but do we look at prison as or do we look at prison as what's the more important part of prison? Is it punishing the person for their crime, or giving them rehabilitation?
I think for the majority of people, it should be rehabilitation. But for the select few that are doing some serious, heinous stuff, it should be to keep them away from the general population.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What about U.S.? Are you cool with these college campus style prisons where you pretty much get to have a very normal life, or do you think prison should be prison? Little to no fun, or it should feel like prison as we know it.
I think it should depend. I mean, it will scale with the society. So, like in the way that he was talking about Brazil, the part of Brazil that the person he was referring to in the prison there, I'm sure the society did not as well. Scandinavian country, Norway. No. So let's say that everybody in Norway
Audio is yours. Tripping a bit.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what you just moved or did, but
I didn't do anything.
I should believe that. But
Hold up. Yeah. So if let's say hypothetically in Norway, literally everybody has a decent apartment, has decent amenities and everything, a decent life, decent job, everything. Then the prison there can, by the same, by that token, it can be a little bit nicer than what you'd see somewhere else because it'll still be, it'll still do its job, or whatever the job we say it is.
so you think the prisons of society should reflect the living conditions of that society?
Yeah, if let's exaggerate, everybody in the society is rich and has a huge house. If you go to this prison, it's still going to be like, it's still going to have a feeling. You're not going to want to be there versus being outside. You're going to want to be in your big house, in your whatever fancy house with a nice job, everything, better. So I think that the society plays a role. However, as far as what it looks like based on what we know, and it looks like there's people who would be outside in the general population who would want to go there as like a resort almost. Like it's and I think that is what makes it feel weird. It's like, and Ghost was saying, there's homeless people that have no home at all, and I don't know how homeless people live in Norway. I don't know. I assume that there are homeless people, but that seems wrong. Those people should have a chance at that first, and it would incentivize people to do crime and to get in and all this stuff if that's where they're going. I imagine. So yeah, there's a lot of things that don't quite sit right about it, but in general, I think it does have something to do with the society that it's in
That's
as well.
interesting. And I almost wonder if that's worth expounding on right now. I definitely agree with what you're saying about if, because I would assume it takes a good amount of resources or time or investment to make a present like this. So, yeah, I think a lot of people would say, well, I think people that literally don't have not should have shouldn't be allowed something like this than a criminal. But I don't know if I mean, are we on the same page about the society thing? Because what I think about when you bring up that point is like if you look at like a more macro level, like United States, for example, like outside of the United States, people like look at the United States is more like just on like let's on like because obviously if you know the United States, you know it vastly different depending on where you are. But you would think of it as like a more modern society, a more well off society. Even if you're homeless, you still have a good chance that you still have an opportunity to achieve something in life. But we still have a lot of prisons in the states that are like bottom of the barrel. Like it's very grotesque, and you basically have unlivable living conditions. Even we hear like some celebrities and wealthy artists experience these kind of conditions. So I don't know if the prisons are going to reflect the society. I think
Well, I mean, we also
if
still have projects. We still have atrocious living conditions that normal people live in who are working and trying to make a living. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you
Yeah, and
look at,
also
yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just real quick. Also, we still there's still the ability to compare the worst prisons here to the worst prisons in other places, and
yeah,
I still feel like I'm sure there's other places with prisons that are worse. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if the example this guy's giving, Brazil, is worse than anything that we have.
you definitely want
Brazil
to.
prisons are
probably the
You
average.
definitely
definitely
don't want
worse
to
than
find yourself in a
yeah,
Brazilian
definitely
prison. I
worse.
think we can all agree on that. So yeah, you're right. That you that clears it up. Yeah. And I guess Ace, what about yourself? What about you? Do you are you cool with this type of lifestyle for a prisoner? Humane prisons.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I agree like 100% with Wes. The the thing is though, yeah, the hang up is just I do feel like there should be an element of punishment and like somebody like punishment should be part of the reason why somebody goes to prison as well as rehabilitation. It shouldn't be just rehabilitation because I mean, just
But
imagine the
there's the
people who are the
incentive.
victims of, huh?
The incentives is
The
part of it.
incentive as well, but I mean, the people who are the victims of um, any of these criminals, or whose relatives or whatever were the victims of these criminals, like I can't imagine being like a family member or something like that, and seeing that they get convicted and they go here, just
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like you're definitely not happy about it. I don't think there would be a feeling that justice was done if this is the prison that they're going to. So
Imagine if you lived in a place smaller than their place too, like
yeah,
where
exactly.
like
So that's the thing that I think is still kind of that I'm a little bit stuck on. But again, I do think it's a frame of reference thing. I mean, we were just talking about um, was it Finland 2 weeks ago or whatever we
Yeah.
last podcasted about them being the happiest place or whatever. Norway's next country over. I'm sure the living conditions are similar. So um, maybe this is part of the reason, um, or maybe it's part of the reason why they can't have a prison like this. But um, I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to. Oh yeah, but in general, like I still I none of what I'm saying is to say that I think the prisons that we have here are good and by any stretch of the imagination. I still like in my mind struggle with fathoming the things that are able to go on in the prisons we have in the states. Like just wrapping my mind around it is um, I have difficulty. So I don't think like we are the model or um, the way we our prisons punish people is um, the way it should be. Um, there will definitely be some type of balance between this and United States prisons, but um, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts overall.
No, I absolutely positively thank you for bringing up that point because that's constantly on my mind as well. And I think it's relevant to this conversation about like, you know, uh, the prison system in the states, and this is an all around the world problem, but we live in the states, is definitely not. It's not. I don't know. Suited is the right word. It's not. I'll use it. It's not suited for um, I guess kind of going into what we were saying. Like it doesn't match what how our society is based on, and oftentimes it doesn't even match the crimes that people commit. Um, yeah, but you guys brought up, a lot of the relevant points for this. I think, to be honest, I think you guys are a bit more progressive though. I think the average person, if you just baseline told them a criminal is living like this, I don't think they'd be accepting of it. Um, unless you actually had a further conversation like how we're having. Um, but yeah, I think, and I guess to bring up like,
I mean, it feels like they're being soft, like soft on these people, and it doesn't feel right. But my point was just that it could be a relativity thing,
mm,
based on the society. Like that could be punishment enough somehow.
right?
It
No, and
is
I was
it's almost unfathomable, but no, they still don't quite sit right. So when you say progressive, it's not necessarily that I strongly feel it. I'm just allowing the possibility.
and I was gonna even say to that point. I don't have the statistics pulled up, but I would strongly be in belief that like probably the crime rates in these type of countries isn't even as high as in the places. So I wonder if that's also a contributing factor to why they are able to design a prison like this. Although they did say
Yeah.
that even murderers and people that commit very heinous crimes go to this prison, but maybe it's still the overall is like people that committed crimes and are worthy of a prison like this, high security, maximum security prison like this, or even like I would wonder what that looks like.
I wonder how long they stay there too.
I mean, depending on how you living, they probably don't want to leave. Or
I mean,
or
honestly,
they probably aren't pressed to leave, I should say.
I don't know if it'd be better or worse. I think it'd be better if they don't. I don't know. Yeah, that's weird, man. I just think, like, at the end of the day, prison is a place you should not want to go. I think that's fair to say. So, if your prison looks too cushy and looks like people should want to go there, it's got problems.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think anyone's wholly against this, but I do think prison in general should have a balance, like we're saying, because again, like you said, if people want to go there, or it's a better living condition than the average person, or obviously those at the bottom of society, I think that could create a different a different problem in itself. But salute to everybody that's you know gone to prison and experienced rehabilitation and came out way better on the other side. It is always good to hear success stories like that. But if there's nothing else, then we can go to the next topic.